Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast, a show for artists, creators, creative entrepreneurs to have heartfelt conversations about living a creative life and a career. As you go into this show, hear your favorite creators talk about money, mindset, business, creativity, and everything else that goes behind into making a life that we all adore as an artist. Hear the messy and the wonderful side of being a creative. I am your host, Charika Arora, an artist, creator, and founder of Arts to Hearts project. Thank you for joining me here. Let's jump right in. Okay, I know you want to get into this episode, but I have something to share with you. I'm so excited. After a couple of months, we're finally so excited to share our new international call for art. This call for art is a group exhibit, an international group exhibit that will be hosted on our platform, on our virtual gallery, and there's so much more that we do, which includes a documentary, and this is a guest curated open call. The theme for this open call is ready to wear, and this will be guest curated by Celine, who is an amazing artist, creative entrepreneur, and such amazing work. I really wanted, to host a new show which embraces fashion, people, culture, textiles, and I'm so glad Celine agreed to, curate this show for us. So this show is for all women artists working in different fields like painting, textiles, drawing, mixed media, and we're so excited to offer a new opportunity with a wider theme, with covering a completely whole section of theme that I'm really looking forward to. And if you want to be a part of this open call, which I'm sure if you're anywhere around this will excite you, you can go to www.arts2heartsproject.com/submit. And the deadline, yes, most important, I forgot. The deadline for this open call is 15th of June 2022. Yes, 15th of June 2022. So don't forget. And see you. Let's get into this episode. Hello, Alexandra. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
I am doing well, and thank you so much. Welcome to the Arts to Hearts podcast. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's good. Good to chat.
Same. Quick story. The strangest way how I found your work. A couple of years ago, someone shared. I was in this group where people would just few artists and things, stuff like that, and someone shared a screenshot of I think a space or a gallery which had like a circular painting and had this big circular painting installed, and I could see the butterflies, the snakes and this flora and fauna and all of that. And someone asked me, at that point I was also doing a little bit of close to that. And someone said, oh, your work looks like this, and will you be able to make something similarly for me? And I was like, let me get back to you. And the first thing I did was I found out who the artist was and if there was a way this person could reach out to the artist. And I went onto the internet and I did the whole Google reverse and all of that, and I found it was your work. And then I felt like, oh my God, I felt like I reached this beautiful, mystical, surreal world. And since then, I have been hooked onto your work since then. And I'm so glad I have a face to your work finally.
I love that. I get that though with other artists. Like someone will randomly post something from another artist, and then you kind of deep dive a little, and you're like, how have I not come across this artist before? They're amazing. And I think things like Pinterest and Instagram and stuff like that are fantastic for that, because you're always discovering new art. So I love that other people are doing that with mine. It's a bit mind-blowing. It's a bit weird, but yeah, I love it.
Your work is also all over the internet, by the way.
I know.
Pinterest.
I think that's probably because of the way I've started my career. Like, I didn't do it the usual way everybody else seems to do it, with like, university, college, getting trained and then going to galleries and stuff. I just because I had kids early on, so I did it all through.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I had my first, who is now coming up to 23, when I was, well,
Are
got
you?
pregnant. Yeah, yeah. And my
Oh
second
my!
in, yeah, she's 17 in a
You
few
look
weeks.
23.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
You, I swear.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I was a teenage mum, so I had
How
kids
old were you
early.
when you had your first one?
My first, I was pregnant with her when I was 18. I just turned 19 when she was
Oh God!
born. And then I was
Wow.
25 with my second. So early mama, but yeah,
But
now
you
they're.
still. Now I need to ask you, what's the secret behind this? The secret to your youthfulness, because you look like a 23 right now. I would have never guessed that. Believe me.
I think it's probably because I'm a bit of a hermit, so I don't see the sunshine. And obviously, living in the UK, it's always grey.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm factor 50. If I do go out, like slather that on and
Oh my
sunscreen.
God.
But it's
Oh my
probably as well.
God.
But yeah, I do get a lot of that comment. If I go out with my daughter, my eldest daughter, and they're like, "Oh, it's my mum," and they're like, "What? Oh my God!" So I'll probably be
Oh my
disappointed
God.
when people stop saying that.
I'm still digesting this information. I may absolutely take some time about that. I you know also, not only that, you are so tech friendly. You've really built this amazing um career on the internet, and I think you're one of the artists that I find have a very strong presence and very solid, like you've really built something. And I
Thank you.
always imagined that I always thought that you would be this young. I mean, of course, you're still young because look at you. But I felt like you would be like this typical millennial, or probably who has these knowledge of like marketing, and then that's a
Yeah.
total surprise.
I'm just winging it. when I when I started using, I actually started like using Facebook and things like that because it was a friend of mine who had a book published, and her editor was like, "I need to join Facebook and Instagram. Can you be one of my friends?" And I was like, "Oh, really? Like, I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, please, please." So I did, and then I thought, "Oh, this might be a good way to share my work, and I look at other people." So each time like I join a new app or something, and I like discovering new people and discovering what to do, but I am literally just winging it. I have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. And obviously it's like years and years of mistakes as well, like building up. Like, I started showing my stuff on the internet probably, I think, about 10 years ago now, when it was
10
like
years
really,
ago.
really bad work as well,
Yeah.
like really bad. Like, where you just don't know what you're doing, but you just like, it's like when you show
Yeah.
your mum your picture that you did at school, and you're like, "Can I put it on the fridge now? Is it good enough to put on the fridge? Can we put it on the wall?" And
And your
that's
mom
pretty
says
much what I
no.
did.
It's
Yeah.
it needs to be framed and put into the museum today.
She would now. She actually used to, like, if I did work for people, like commercial work for companies and
Yeah.
stuff, she has been in touch with a few going, "What are you doing with that after? Can I have it after?" I'm like, "Stop doing that, mum."
Okay, tell me firstly. I'm also loving this hermit look of yours now that you've already said. But tell me, how did you get into the arts? How did you start your journey?
It's going to sound really cliche, but it's something that I have done since I can remember. It's something I've always wanted to do. And my dad was an artist as well. So I think I just kind of
Really?
grew up with it. Yeah, he was an artist, and he taught business and arts in a prison. But he was practicing himself. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I think I always grew up with the smell of oil paint and things like that. And I have like a bit of a competitive side, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But I'd always look at my dad's paintings and be like, "I want to paint like that. I want to paint better than that. And my dad, bless him, was always one of those people that would be like, "Yeah, you could do better." Like, "Do you like this? No, you could do better. Try this instead." And I think that always pushed me to keep doing it. But it's what I've always said ever since being little, is I want to be an artist. It's the only thing I can really do as well, to be fair, like, is create stuff. And if I'm not, I noticed when the children were small and I wasn't painting, I wasn't creating anything when they were really small, I just keep starting projects, in the house, decorating, or a Pinterest project that never gets finished, and I'm always like doing something creative. So
But
yeah.
did you you said you had your children quite early. First question, did you start your creative career before that or after having children? What were you doing around that time? Did you go to an art school? What about that?
Yeah, I started and actually dropped out when before I had my eldest daughter, simply because I don't think I was ready, and I was more interested probably in having a good time and partying and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Obviously, being a mum at 18. Um, and then I kind of settled down and I spent a couple of years. And then when I was about 22, when I met my husband, he convinced me to go back to college and do a foundation course in the arts, because he was like, come on, you can do this. And I was so scared. I was absolutely terrified. I was like, I don't know. And he convinced me to do it. So I did a year of that. And then I started a degree and then dropped out because I've learned as I've got older, I'm not very good at keeping to the regimen of things, the regimen of academia and things like that. And I used to feel really guilty about that. But now I'm older, I'm just like, well, it doesn't count.
I know my
That's for
ways.
me. Yeah, this is who I am. Let's just live with it, deal with it. I haven't even learned to drive because of this reason, because of the thought of spending weeks learning. It's like, can we not do it in a week? We do it in a day,
I love
perhaps.
this. I love this. This is nonsense for me. I love this attitude. No shits given, because that's all we need.
Yeah, it's just the way I am. It's just, and I've learned to live with that and use that as a more of a strength rather than a hindrance. But yeah, I did a foundation, but I was really, really lucky to have been taught by some absolutely amazing teachers, that were creating themselves and winning awards and getting into exhibitions and stuff. And my tutor, Richard Cross, at the time, he's still be submitting work and winning awards and everything. And every time after college, when I used to run into him as well, like when I'd left, he'd give me like a nugget of advice, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm taking that, thank you." Like, still, even though I've left. So yeah, I was lucky in that sense. And then I just kind of started doing my own thing. And originally I started doing portrait work because that's what I used to love doing, is portraiture. But then I was like, it's really stale what I'm doing. And because, I lacked the education, I didn't really know how to take that further. So I just started, I was like, I really want to start doing my own stuff. And it just coincided with the fact that my youngest started painting all over work anyway. So I'd be doing portraits of people, and my daughter would come along and like add a really nice,
oh my God,
or something all over the canvas and everywhere else. And I'd be like, this isn't going to work. But she, bless her, she has quite a Renaissance look, quite a creepy Renaissance look. So I was like, I'm going to take photos of you and start doing stuff digitally. And I started taking photos of her and making them into collages digitally. And that's how what I'm doing now kind of began, really. Like, I kind of changed around my situation, thinking that painting's not going to happen with a small child. I mean, hats off to the mums that do it, but it wasn't working for mine.
So today you work.
That's
what I was asking. Today you do both.
Yes. Yeah.
How has that?
I think both what I learned in the past and, obviously being taught in a traditional way to paint. Because my dad as well taught me how to paint very traditionally, with acrylics and oil paints and stuff.
Okay.
And I was very lucky to have that education as well, to look at old masters and what have you and be very influenced by that. And then obviously you've got the tech side, and now I can merge both of them. So I can do mixed media pieces, or I use like Photoshop to sketch out a piece and then paint it. I can use like a myriad of techniques, and I'm always learning as well. I'm always learning new things to push what I'm doing.
But what about let's say you had the creative influence because your father, and you had your own creative instincts. How about the business side of the work? Making There's one thing that you be as an artist, you make the work. The another whole ball game is to take your work out there, to make it
Yeah.
validated. And I think we don't even know, like you're saying, like you picked a very different path, and I don't think you would have done that intentionally. You must have just one thing at
Oh,
a time, and that's how it
definitely,
must have happened. But
definitely.
how were you good at business? Did you have anyone, like, how was that part for you?
It's still a huge learning curve. I called my accountant the other day, panicking. Like, it's just a crazy learning curve. And I think one of the things though with the way my brain works is I do seem to be able to be like, with anything, I could be like, you could make a business out of that. You could do something with that, and that's only because I've learned like along the
Learn
way,
now.
and it's
Yeah.
how my brain works anyway.
Yeah.
Some people say it's a bit too much, but but yeah, it's just a huge learning curve. It's just constantly learning and constantly being open to listening to people who are advising you on the way. I've been very lucky with curators and gallery owners that I've worked with, other artists that I've met, even community project leaders and things like that. They've all taught me huge amounts about what I do. And then it's also like constantly watching kind of what other people are doing as well. So it's kind of just, oh, that's quite a cool idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or, but sometimes ideas, for business or marketing or things like that, I just think I have one of those brains, and sometimes they just happen to me. I'll be cooking tea or, having a shower or something. I'll be like, oh, that would be a
Yes.
really good idea. Let's give that a go. Let's try that. And my husband's from a graphic design. He's a graphic designer. So
Oh
he's worked a
wow.
lot with like marketing, advertising. So he'll be like, oh, yeah, I've seen that
That's
work in such a place.
Oh wow. Okay. What How does your work and life look like today? I know you have House of Alexandra. Okay, I'll shut up. You have, anyone who's listening, can you talk about the things that you do? How, as an artist, what are the different things that you're doing today? Let's walk through that.
Yeah, different things I do lots of different things.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned, the House of Alexandra stuff is like the interior stuff, murals and wallpaper, cushions, teacups, things like that. Because I have a huge passion for interior
Interior.
design and fashion and what have you. I can't afford what I like, but it's like I do love it. And I love the inventiveness of things as well. And I follow a lot of interior designers on places like Instagram and things like that, and their inventiveness, and their
Yes.
eye for creativity. I'm like, oh wow, that's
Oh,
just beautiful. And
yes.
the places we live, our homes, the places we go to work are very important in how they look.
Yeah.
Because for our mental health. So I do that, and then I do like commercial projects as well, for like businesses and companies. So I will design stuff that's like my artwork, but for their whatever business they've got. They're always fun because they always push me a little as well in the way I create work. I may not have
Done
sort of,
otherwise.
yeah, like I did a recent project at the moment which hasn't launched yet, but I can say it involved horses and frogs. And when they said, can you stick a horse and a frog in it, I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to make this work, but yeah, somehow it works. But it's that pushing, that kind of, you're
Yes.
like, oh. And then I do street art and murals and stuff as well. So I do like street art stuff, which I love. I'll sneak off and do a paste up somewhere, or I get invited to go and paint or put a paste up somewhere. And I also do them for commercial properties and cruise ships as well. So there'll be big massive walls or big massive interior areas that are created, and it looks like you're in my world kind of thing. And then obviously I also do the prints and the paintings and everything as well. So I try and keep it like keep a variety, and there's so much more that I want to do. It's quite frustrating actually, because I always say to my husband, I was like, A, I'm not going to live long enough to do everything I want to do, and B, like, I need to win the lottery to do everything I want to do, or just have like 10 of me, because I have so many ideas and I love so many different genres of art and ways of working that I just want to, you know, do everything. Like,
I feel you there for sure. You know, what's so fun about you? Firstly, I'm so glad that that we're talking. And honestly, there's one thing that I viewed as a viewer, your work, but knowing you and speaking to you is so much more fun. And I feel like I would have missed something really if wouldn't have had this conversation. You've paved a very different path for yourself. Like you said, it's not the traditional way like someone would go. Was this something, what I'm trying to say is like, have you made this a subconscious choice because you didn't want to go that way, or you couldn't, or this was something that just happened?
I think it's kind of a bit of both. I think in my nature, I just have part of my nature is like, you know, stick to the rules, and then another part of my nature is like really rebellious and really kind of like, why do I have to do it this way? I don't want to do it this way, especially if there's like lots of time wasted. And I often describe like my brain is like having 10 computer tabs open on your desktop and like a theme tune and a monologue and various other things going on. So yeah, I think in a way it's kind of like this was the easier path for me to take. And because you always end up doubting yourself a lot as well. And I think it helped if I was doing it my own way, my own path. I'm going to learn things, but I'm not going to constantly doubt myself, I think, by thinking I have to do it a certain way. I think sometimes there are too many kind of rules, but not rules that are imposed on us of how we should do things. And I don't necessarily, I mean, I drive my husband nuts because I'm always like, have you ever thought that like why we've got a house and we live this way, why we're not like just traveling and experience things? And he goes, we cannot keep having this conversation. Like, and like, my mind is one of those minds that's like, have you ever thought about it like we're little hives and things like that? So we're all doing our job, doing the, you know, why are we doing this?
I think we're all very curious as artists about the whys. Why this? Why this color? Why this image? I think that's
definitely
what we love. Keep digging in and deeper and deeper and deeper, unless someone's like, that's a back off.
Yes,
that's enough. Let go.
Stop. Yeah, stop that now. Yeah, I know my parents. I used to drive my parents mad. Me always asking why all the time as well. Like, why are you making me do this? Why are we doing this?
Same here.
Like, yeah.
Like,
so I think
sometimes people would not tell me. People like my friends and someone like they know I really need like. I would ask a million questions before, they would want me to do something. And I also have this like, if someone's really told me to do this, so my natural instinct would be probably not to do it.
Yes.
So I have tried to become more generous and give them a chance that if you convince me that I should do this, tell me why.
Yeah, my husband's actually a lot like that. Actually, before we do anything, it's like there's got to be a whole spreadsheet, business plan, everything. Like, why are we doing this?
No, and not even like rationally. For me, my why doesn't come from logic. My why comes from emotions. Why do you want me to do this?
I'm like
how
that.
is it like?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like sometimes people they like my partner is like, a lot of times he would be like, he wouldn't even tell me. He'll be like, don't want to go down that road. So I'd rather take you there and drop you than answer those questions at all.
I think that kind of comes from being like an independent woman though as well, and not just kind of
Yes,
going with
that's
stuff
true.
and questioning stuff. I think to have a curious mind sometimes is a good thing. That you're not
I
just
think
going.
that's also the gift of creativity and being an artist.
Yes, definitely,
Love
definitely.
that about it. Okay, you also mentioned your work. You that means I'm still digesting this fact, so let me absorb it. You built this career while you were a mom of
Hmm.
young children,
Yeah.
and you've 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 not built it in a way that you knew, okay, these are the steps, and that's how people have done it, that's how I can do it. You've really
Yeah.
figured things out for yourself. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the struggles that you've had, and how did you what was one of the biggest struggle, I think, you had in building the career that you have today?
I think the biggest thing is probably just getting your work out there. I think that is the biggest thing, and people liking it and noticing and being able to make a living from it as well. I think
Yeah,
because sometimes can be a perception that you create something art
and
wise
it
and then you'll
goes.
be able to, it'll go mental and you'll be able to sell it for loads. And it's not,
Yeah,
it's just like a lot of hard work, and it's very much having that kind of belief and dedication to kind of do that. There was a few times when the kids were small where I was like, oh, maybe I should just get a 9 to 5
quit.
job. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not qualified for anything. Like, I can run a bar, I can pull a pint, that's about it. So I was like, what to do? And then it was actually my husband that was like, no, keep going with this, I believe
Oh,
in you,
that's so
keep going.
nice.
And then it also fit round, both my children are autistic, so it fit round
Okay,
that as well. It fit round being able to be,
with them.
that full-time mom, and
Yeah,
regardless of whether they paint on my work, it fit around that. So I think
yeah,
that was probably the tricky bit, was just get building up that momentum where people valued your work enough that, which I still find humbling and amazing now, that people
yeah,
are like, oh, I'll stick your work on my wall, I really like that. So yeah, that was tricky. And obviously tricky bit with being obviously a mum is not being able to travel about and
yeah,
go to places and go to preview shows. And I started out working a lot in London, that's where most of my
yeah.
work was. And so that became very tricky, obviously. So I was always the artist that nobody ever saw. Nobody knew what I
Yes.
looked like. And yeah, so,
Are you not also a lot on the internet, by the way?
pardon, say that again, sorry.
You're also not on the internet, but so are
No.
you still the artist who's not seen a lot? Though your
Yeah.
work is seen a lot.
Yeah, I think someone saw a photo of me the other day, not so long back, and they were like, "Oh my god, you look so different to how I expected you to look." And I was like, "All right," but yeah, I'm not one for having my photo taken. I think I'm just that. I get so shy, and I end up like, as soon as there's a camera in front of my face, I end up like doing a double chin and just looking a bit odd because of sheer fright that, like it's going to take my
You
soul or
look like a
something.
23-year-old, right?
Yeah,
You do
I
know
can't.
that.
Yeah, I'm just not big on the photos. I don't think. I think that's probably a confidence thing. I think. Yeah, I feel
Oh, you've done
quite
such amazing things.
no, I think I feel confident in like my work and everything, but
Yes.
I think physically it's different. I think we all have that
Yeah.
though, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. What do you think has been something like, my question is quite opposite of what I asked you before. Like, your biggest struggle. You've done quite a few things. I want to ask, what has been your biggest strength, or something that's one pivotal reason, or something that you did that's really helped you build this career today?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that's because it's always been. I'm one of those people as well that never looks back, so it's all been bit by bit. I think I
Yes.
was taken a lot more seriously once I'd come like second place in like a Saatchi showdown and had my work in the
Yes.
Saatchi. That was quite early on, and then approaching galleries and stuff, it made it a lot easier. So I would always
Yeah.
advise artists to enter like competitions and things like that. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get in, obviously. There's
Yeah.
more rejection than there is, um, I can't think of the word there, but you know what I mean. Being
Acceptance. Yeah.
successful, yeah, acceptance.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I was taking a lot more seriously then. And then yeah, I think it's just been incremental as I've gone along, and with the people that I've met, really. And each
Yeah.
time I've met somebody or done something, it's kind of moved my work into a different place, or I've learned more. And I mean, the style of work that I'm doing at the moment with the females and the birds and flowers, I mean,
Yeah.
that came about from a friend wanting a wedding present, and he said he likes magpies and swans.
Oh,
Could I make
wow.
him something? And I hit on this like new way of working, and I wanted to move away from the surreal landscapes because quite a lot of people were doing those. And I was like, I think I found my thing, like, and I always say to this friend as well, I'm like, you're the reason I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment. So yeah, and then I meet artist Hayley Welsh, and doing the street art festival and doing the street art with her. She was the one that got me doing street art and that,
Okay.
and brought me into that world, and I met more people. And yeah, so yeah, it's always meeting new people, or people giving you a
Yeah.
chance, saying, I really like your work, can you do something for me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's one thing that I would say was like a triumph. Plus, I'm one of those
Keep
people.
going. I think also, I think what you just said, that in spite of everything, you just kept on going with whatever you had.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the biggest thing, is just keep going and just keep like one day at a time. And I think that's what I always advise to other people as well when they ask me, is like, I'm like, just keep going, have a thick skin, keep going, and you know, believe in yourself.
And the hardest thing, I think most of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I think you've got to fake it. Fake it till you make it, as they say sometimes, where you
I think
just,
we're all, yeah, I think we're all seeking, I think as artists also, but in general also, we're all seeking validation from others. But the
yeah,
most important thing that I think, with over 100 interviews I've done so far, um, my own work, or in general, I think, what I see in common is a lot of those people have had this have had that validation from themselves more than someone else. I think once
yeah.
you have that validation from within is when things start to change for you, or they stop once you start doubting yourself.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think you've definitely got to believe in yourself and not put yourself down so much. So it's like that thing, isn't it? Like, everyone believes that one negative comment out of 100
Yes.
positive comments about them, and focus on that. And I think sometimes you can get trapped in that negativity, or that, lack of confidence. And I see that in people that are incredibly talented, and they've not done anything with it because they're doubting themselves. And I think you've got to
Yes.
kind of just, it's not so much having faith in yourself, but just kind of changing it to a positive way of thinking, and being like, and if it brings you joy, then why not
Yeah.
do it? If creating brings you joy, then go ahead and do it, and always create because
Yeah.
it brings you joy, and then that's positive,
Yeah.
and you can put it out there.
Yeah. And I think what I've also learned, I think something that I've always been, now I'm constantly trying to change about my own thought, is that a lot of that fear comes from, the idea of this permanency. I think when I'm afraid of something, most of the times I think like, what if this happens? What if I fail?
Mm,
Or what if something goes wrong? And something I really love what my partner always explains to me, because I'm an overthinker. And he's like, you know what? Even if you fail, you will, even if you lose that money, you will always have a chance to earn that back again, because
yeah.
I don't have children, I don't have those responsibilities right now. So I can still take those risks. Or there is no all of if all of these decisions that I'm making are, if I can press and undo and maybe, go back to where I was, like if I can still do that, then why not take the plunge and see if it works for you? If not, you can always go back from where you came.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, I think that's important to be able to do as well. I think it's what that old mantra where you've got to fail to succeed. Like,
Succeed.
you've got to keep failing until you succeed. And each time you fail, it's just a learning opportunity. It's just you just got to try different things. Nobody wakes up one morning and goes, do you know what? I can play the guitar. I'm an
Yes.
absolute rock star. They've got to keep practicing and practicing and failing until they've mastered that instrument. And it's the same with anything I think that we do. I mean, I'm quite lucky that I'm not really that much of an overthinker about most things. Some things, usually at like 3 a.m, where everything seems way worse than it should be. Like, I don't know why.
You need to meet my brain.
But on the whole, I'm not really an overthinker. I'm more likely to just jump in, but that has got me into trouble. I haven't thought about something properly. But yeah, you've just got to roll with it, I think. Sometimes I think you've just got to see what happens.
Oh wow. Okay, another question that comes to my mind is I think a lot of even on you've built a great career out of the internet. And thanks to internet, a lot of artists have found a way to reach their audience, to build a successful life, a life of abundance for them. But a lot of people struggle with this question of, oh, I'm shy on the internet, and I can't put myself out there. And like you said, like that's surprising. There's very little of you on the internet, but you've still built something so substantial and amazing out of it. How has your relationship as an introvert and as a shy person been with the internet? And then how are you doing? Because you're killing it. You're on the internet. Your work is all over there. So how have you managed that?
I think I don't know. I used to always think that I wasn't that interesting, so people want to see my art, not me. And then people kept saying, "No, we really want to talk to you. Really want to know what you're like and things like that." And I'm like, "Really, it's not that. I'm not that cool. I'm not bohemian kind of out there. And I am incredibly shy in that sense. And when I first got asked to do like interviews or anything like that, I would absolutely panic. Like I would be terrified. I remember doing a radio interview once, and I brought my children just for comfort, like so that and my husband, because like I was absolutely terrified. But the more I've done like radio or interviews or TV or anything like that, I just switch off now. I don't even think about it now, and I think that's because I've got more confidence in myself. But I always just think it's like I recently joined TikTok and started sharing like video clips and stuff of me painting.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter's like, "Oh, you should show yourself." And my daughter's like, "If people knew what you were like, you're so funny. Like people would think it was great."
Really love that.
And I'm like, "No, I'm not ready for that. I think it's too much. For me, it's too much vulnerability, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
to keep part of me private.
Right.
And I am the kind of person that will do something stupid and get cancelled or like become a meme or something. So I'm like, let's not do that.
But you know what I started loving about the internet is like, I think honestly, I would have, like I said this before also, if I wouldn't have had the chance to do this call with you, I really would have missed something out of you. Like your work, of course, is one part, but who you are as a person when I talk to you, I love that. I'm loving this conversation. I'm loving to get to know you. And internally, there's one part of the picture when I saw your work and I what you do. Now, so that's how my brain works. Like this is one part of picture, and then there's another part of picture where let's say I'm trying to connect the dots. Oh, that's how it makes sense. Oh, that's why she does this. Like and then also having a voice to her work, and like it becomes an experience than just loving or liking someone's work.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, and I do. It is something that I get pulled up about quite a lot. But I'm not like that giving in me as a person attached to my work kind of thing. If that makes sense, I don't say a lot about me as a person. Like unless we're doing an interview like this, obviously. But I do get that. Like people are always like, "Oh, we want to know more." What's know you?
Okay. What's coming up for you? What are you looking forward to? What's that's like? Is there something that you're working on? A new, I don't know. I feel like you must have something, some secret project going on that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, there's been a couple of commercial ones that I can't say anything about yet.
Yeah.
But for my own personal work, I'm trying to start working on a new body of work that's going to be mostly originals and some prints. I'm going to be doing a new series of prints as well. Based
Okay.
on astrology, these ones I thought, yeah, I'd quite like to do kind of an astrology thing, but not in the usual kind of symbolism of astrology. It'd be like there was symbolism of personality traits that are with those, rather than, a ball for Taurus or something like that.
Yeah.
But the main thing is just concentrating on a new body of work. I want to create something a bit more serious, that's from more of a feminist point of view. A lot of my work's feminist anyway, or it's very much entrenched in nature and Mother Earth and the cosmos and spirituality. But yeah, the new work, I want to kind of just take it up kind of a bit of a level and everything. But
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, these things take time, don't they? Creating a new body of work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
kind of doing in the background amongst like commissions and various other things. But I'm finding it
Yeah.
exciting. I'm finding it exciting trying, because I want to change up the style a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, just
Oh, wow.
push it a little bit. So there's going to be a lot of me failing until I get to that point where I'm like, yeah, no, this works. I'm happy with it. I just want to, yeah,
Um,
just try and push myself really, and see
yeah.
what more I can do. Like I love
What?
doing. Go on,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. No,
I was gonna
no.
say I love doing the birds and flowers stuff and the collage stuff that I do. But
What
I
is
want,
your
yeah.
creative process like right now?
My creative process is still mainly using Photoshop to sketch, and using found imagery. I love using found imagery, and sometimes I'll create the elements myself as well, and then mix it all together, because I find that it works best for the way my brain works.
Works
I can move things about and everything.
around.
I've said numerous times before, if I use a sketchbook, I either don't finish what I'm doing, or
Yeah.
it looks a little contrived, like it's a
Yeah.
bit, uh, it's lost its punch, it's lost its vibe. So Photoshop I found as a really good tool to be able to go with the flow organically, at the same time as getting out what's in my head and just
Yeah.
moving stuff
And what
about.
about your originals? How do you then work on your originals?
If they are mixed media, then I use a combination of digital print and paint. So it'll be either digitally on wood or aluminium canvas, and it won't be all the painting, it'll just be parts of
Yes.
it. And then I paint into it as well and try and make it pop a
Yeah.
bit more and add embellishments and, gold, glitter, stitching, whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's a canvas or a mural that's painted, then I usually kind of scale it up and then paint like the traditional way, like from scratch. But that
Yeah.
takes me a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, it takes forever.
And tell me something, like when you approach your work, do you like, is it very, it's more instinctive, or you have a plan, or you work on that before, and then,
It's
you go take the jump?
It's usually instinctual. Everything I do art wise is usually very instinctual. I find it very hard sometimes if I've been given, like if I do a commercial job and I have a list of things that it needs to, and it has to look like, and I find that very
Like,
difficult, because it
yeah,
kind of, yeah, and it ends up looking a bit kind of really bad heavy metal t-shirt artwork or something like that, or a bit too emo, and I'm like, no, this is not the vibe I was going for. Those are great in that genre, but no, I don't need that. So yeah, I can struggle a bit. It's very, very organic and visceral the way I do things, and I think that's why I relate more to like the surrealism, because it is
yeah, your
just
work
very,
is,
yeah, it's very organic. Just
yeah,
I've said that word way too much, haven't I? Organic. I need a new word. But yeah, it's just I'll just go with the flow.
And then how do you find your inspiration? Like how you build these magical fantasy kind of worlds in your work? And I I'm thinking, how does your mind work? How would you even imagine? Like, how do you
I don't think
find these
anyone wants
ideas
to
and
know.
inspiration? No, I am for sure there for it.
Yeah, I'm obviously, I look at a lot of art and I love all the old masters and everything, but I just live and breathe art. I am that contrived person, and I'm always constantly looking at art and fashion, even music, or graphic design, interior, anything that's creative. I'm constantly absorbing it and constantly see. And I think sometimes as well, accidentally, it will go in my work, and sometimes, you do the work and then you're like, you're playing along and then you're on Instagram or something, you're like, oh my word, why does that look like, and like I kind of call some art at the moment the age of Googleism. This is the era of Googleism because people are so influenced by each other art-wise.
Yes.
Like we've got modernism and surrealism. This is Googleism, I think.
I love that term.
Yeah, I think when we look back, we'll be like, yeah, this is you.
Yeah, this is what it was called.
Yeah. I termed it
first. I can't believe how fun it is to talk to you, and I can't believe we're talking for the first time. Okay, let's go to the rapid fire. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, let me pull my questions together. Here we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One thing you want to convey through your work in the arts.
Say that again. Sorry, I totally missed that question. I was still on 1, 2, 3. I'm so sorry. Could you say that again, please? Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. One thing you want to convey through your work in the arts.
Probably convey of connection, human connection.
Okay. What's that one word that describes you the best?
Oh, I don't know. Quirky. A bit odd.
I know by now. Go ahead. Tell me. One word.
Quirky, I think, probably.
Yes. You got that right.
Yeah. I've grown to accept it.
If you could have a studio anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh, that is a tough one. Oh, wow. I think I would have a traveling studio. I would have a studio that I could travel around the world. That would be my ultimate dream. And the thing that I pester my husband about the most is like getting a van and traveling around the world.
Pack everything up and let's go.
Yeah. It's his worst nightmare.
I'm sure you'll do that.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm sure you'll do that. Let me know once you're doing that.
Yeah, I'll come meet you.
Yes, please do. I'll come meet you. I'll do the same someday. Not today though.
Yeah.
Your biggest source of inspiration?
People.
Who's your favorite woman artist?
Who's my what? Sorry.
Any point of time. Favorite woman artist?
Oh, yeah. Jenny Saville. Yeah, absolutely adore
Lovely.
her work. Yeah, I love it.
Perfect. Who's your go-to person when you're in trouble or in need of advice?
My husband, usually.
Yeah,
bailing me out.
I guess that by now.
Yeah.
I'm sure your husband has been extremely intentional and he wants to make sure that either any trouble you go to him first because he needs to make sure or an advice because he wants to make sure you're not selling everything off and getting that studio.
Yeah, definitely. Run it past him.
But how fun would that be?
It'd be so good.
A surprise studio.
Yeah, I did do that actually with I did kind of surprise him with, it was like a cruise to Iceland and Norway, and only after I found out that he has great fear of masses of water. Like, and I'd put him on a ship. He already has a fear of heights, so the balcony room we had that was really high up, and then just masses of water.
Oh my god! So there's no moment of relief. There's always thrill when you're around with him.
Yeah.
You make his world go round.
Yeah, that's what I tell him. I'm the light of his life. I make it more interesting.
Oh my god, that's so fun. Love that. Oh my god. Okay. What has been your favorite moment as an artist? Any moment that you feel very like that you keep close to your heart, you cherish a lot, that makes you feel grateful for doing what you're doing today?
Ooh. I think it's not one thing. I think it's the fact that I've been able to build a life and a lifestyle around the way I want it to be, and be able to be supportive to my kids and my husband. And I feel incredibly privileged and incredibly lucky to do what I do, to be able to create pictures that other people like or connect to. I love that. That's the most humbling, best thing. That. Yeah, it makes my heart sing. So I'm like, yay.
It's music to my ears as well.
Yeah.
I think it's always inspiration to see any other woman, also creators, artists, living that life, because we all know that feeling. We all really know what it feels to have a life from our own, to live a creative life. I think it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it'd be amazing to see more people being creative just in their daily lives.
Absolutely.
I think
you're inspiring so many.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are very talented, whether it's music or literature, arts, and I think it would be, instead of getting bogged down, I think, with the everyday, a bit more creativity.
Yeah. We're all doing our parts, aren't we?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. If you were to meet, this is interesting, I'm interested now. If you were to meet younger Alexandra today, what advice would you give her?
Stop being a dickhead. But no, I think the biggest thing would be to have faith in myself and not to settle because you don't think you're good enough. I think that would be the biggest thing I'd tell her. To have faith, and that you can achieve things and you can do things, I think that would be the biggest thing.
Love that. Okay, shout out to an artist you're currently loving on social media.
Oh, there's so many. That's a tough one. I'm really on the spot now, because now I've just got loads of people in my brain, and
you're allowed more than one. Go ahead.
I know, and my mind just went blank with everybody's name as well.
I get that a lot. Also, I think it's also like we have the moment. I feel like that's how I visualize, because I'm a very visual person. Like whenever I ask someone this question, they will have like the feed scrolling and those likes and save button being clicked, and they can imagine the picture, but they can't recall the name it had below.
Yeah, I'm the same with music as well. Like, I listen to such a wide variety of music, everything from like classical and opera right through to hip hop and garage and drum and bass, and I listen to a whole gamut of stuff. And but if anyone was to ask me what I was actually listening to, I was like, I don't know. I'm just vibing with the beat right now. I find I'm terrible at remembering names. Even my own sometimes. I have been caught out with my own as well, where people is like, what's your name? And I'm like, I don't know right now.
Do you remember the name of your own works always?
No. I don't.
No, thank God. Thank God.
No, I have to look on my website and double check.
Yes. Thank God. I'm not alone.
Yeah, I thought it was just me.
And I'm like, so many times I have had, if there's a work I pull out and then bring it back after some time, I'm like, what did I call it then? And I'm like, chuck it, I don't feel it the same way. I don't even or even if I remember or found it somewhere, I'm like, I kind of don't feel that way anymore. And then I'm like, let it go.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah,
definitely.
It's hard to stick to something so hard. Okay, tell me, artist on social media.
Well, I'm really loving in Lizzie Cole's, I think, work at the moment. She draws a lot of portraiture, pencil portrait work, but her skills are absolutely mad. Like, she's so good. And I
have to check her out.
Yeah, I'm just in an exhibition with her at the moment, actually, like a little exhibition that's plants and art and everything. And it's the first time that we've exhibited together. But yeah, she has seriously good skills. I'm like so envious. And she's so lovely as well. But yeah, I'm seriously envious.
Wow. Okay. As a woman creative, an artist, a creative entrepreneur, what's the one advice that you would like to give to other artists who are listening to this episode, who are, who look up to you, who are coming behind you, starting, in different places? What's that one piece of advice that you'd like to share with us?
I think, like I said before, just keep trying and don't be scared to fail. Just keep failing and keep trying and work really hard. That is the biggest thing. You've got to work hard and have a thick skin and don't believe everything that everybody tells you about your work. If you enjoy it, then art is subjective. If just one person may hate it, but another person is going to absolutely love it and it's going to connect with them. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to follow what everyone else is, following. It's like, go by the beat your own drum, as they say. But yeah, have faith in yourself and work hard.
Yes. Oh, wow. I love that. That's so nice. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Alexandra. I had so much fun. I can't even tell you how fun it was. And what a surprise it was to speak to you.
Well, thanks for asking me. It has been fun. It's been a giggle. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Same here. Okay. Where can people find you, support you? Can you, if you have anything that you would want to plug here, where, any new project, any prints, anything, just use this space for people who love your work, love you, and would want to support you and follow you.
Oh, I think the main place would probably be my website. That has everything on it, including connections to social media. Social media, you'll be able to see like what I'm doing or my random thoughts of that day, which don't really amount to much apart from I need more coffee and I love my dog. But yeah,
we need more of you on social media now. See, I didn't know you had a dog. I have 3 dogs.
Oh, dogs are wonderful. Dogs are so wonderful.
Best thing in the world.
Yeah. He makes me laugh probably every day. He's just a loon.
I'm sure he must have had the same thing to say. The only thing he can't. Because by this, I've guessed you are so fun to be around.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God. Yes. So I will link your website and your Instagram and other links. All the artists Alexandra has mentioned in the show notes on our website. So you make sure you visit them. And I really look forward to speaking to you soon again.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find all the details and links mentioned in the show notes of this episode available on www.arts2heartsproject.com. And if you like this episode, please don't forget to tag us in your stories and leave us a review here on iTunes or any of your favorite platforms. It really helps us to keep the show going. Thank you so much. I'm sending you lots of love and I can't wait to be back here soon again. Bye.